adjustments. And I need to do my sound check. Here I am, friends. Technical difficulties. A different set of technical difficulties. Whoa! You got to be careful when you're adjusting that webcam. It's a sensitive soul. All right. Yeah. New session. New setup. New issues, but the show must go on. There you go. Oh, okay, thank you. That's what I just got up to do. All right, my whole team. My whole team is here helping me. Now, the most boring thing in the world. I need to get the link for this, copy it to my other device, and post it, so anyone in the world will know that I am going to play about 45 or 50 minutes of nautical music on the accordion this afternoon. It's going to be a bit dry going watching me type it in with my thumbs. So bear with me. We're almost live. Okay. YouTube. Do 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 do. Da 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 da. How do I copy that? How do I tell them that I'm filming right now? How do I do that? I'm going to draft my assistant. All right. While I get that information cooked up, let me see if there's any background information I can share with you to help account for the unusual spectacle that I'm going to share with you this afternoon. I am thrilled once again to be invited back to be part of the Accordion Fridays program run by René de la Prade of the famous Accordion Babes. And this is great. I see it there, but how do I share it? Oh my goodness. What have I got myself into? They have had me a few times playing music for people as part of their weekly program. Weekly. Of zany, strange, wonderful, amazing accordion music from folks from all over, playing in all different styles from all around the world. In the Accordion Babes case, they are trying to stimulate interest in and sales of their fabulous Accordion Babes pinup calendar, an amazing, unlikely, improbable, and altogether splendid annual undertaking of a marriage of cheesecake photography and accordion iconography. You get 12 fabulous pin-up photos for every month, and bundled in with the calendar is bundled up with the calendar is an album where you get to hear every month's accordionista playing music with her band, and it's an amazing. You buy the album and you get an awesome um, recording for free, or it's like you buy the album, you get an awesome calendar for free. Is what I meant to say. All right, I have the link that I need now. I can tell Facebook that I'm really here, and then I can start playing music. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Looks like I'm live on YouTube at Sang. And one more post. Now, every set doesn't necessarily have to have a theme, but I'm doing these streams on a monthly basis in place of concerts that I would, in an ordinary year, be performing that have been canceled due to pandemic. I miss playing the music. I miss having the occasions to get together and have that musical fun. So I'm doing the streams in their place. Now, a gig that I would customarily be doing in August would be Grenville Island's fabulous Wooden Boat Festival, which is, as it sounds, a nautical um, festival where boat people, ships and sailors and people from the Maritimes and people who live by the sea and like the culture of the ocean get together and we play them nautical music in a splendidly nautical location. All right, my friends. I think I'm recording. I think I'm streaming to people. Now I gotta start actually playing some music. So anyway, my phone's over there doing the side angle. Okay. It's about time, I think. So many technical elements always up in the air. I don't know about the sound quality you're going to get. So if there are issues, I am going to rely on you, my friends, to let me know in the YouTube chat if it's not sounding good, and I can try to fix it. Laughing, all right. So for no Wooden Boat Festival this year, in which I'd be playing with some incarnation or another of my Jug Band of the Damned, the Creaking Planks. Perhaps you saw my shirt earlier. Accordion Octopus. Could be playing up to 4 accordions simultaneously. I'm going to play you some nautical music now. People always assumed the Creaking Planks were a nautical band due to the name. Understandably, I did not pick the name. They did not play nautical songs when I joined the band. We had a brief window of fascination with nautical music before determining maybe we weren't going to go that direction. But we never changed the name. All right. All the buttons are working. You're getting a little bit of sound, a little bit of nonsense. Let's have some fun. And people always expected pirate music out of the Creaking Planks, the jug band of the damned. And we did a lot. We played everything, literally everything under the sun you can imagine, specializing on the music you would not expect to hear coming out of our instruments. But not a lot of nautical stuff, except when the occasion called for it. Here's one we picked up for one of our early pirate gigs, the opening to the Lowbrow on the High Seas art exhibition at the Marine Club, if memory serves correct. God, over 15 years ago, probably. Fondly missed venue. This is a genuine, authentic sea shanty, which means very repetitive, simple, not espousing the most progressive views about women and their place in the world. Basically, shanties, the function of a shanty is to give you a rhythm that helps you conduct repetitive labor and helps take your mind off the fact that this is your life now every day, coiling ropes or swabbing decks. The music helps time pass. Hey, don't you see that black cloud rising way haul away? We'll haul away, Joe. Hey, don't you see that black cloud rising way haul away? We'll haul away, Joe. Now when I was a little boy and so my mother told me, way haul away, haul away, Joe. That if I didn't kiss the girls, me lips would all run moldy. Way haul away, Joe. Well, once I skipped a verse, very important. I sailed the seas for many a year, not the one what I was missing. Way haul away, Joe. I sets me sails afore the gales and started in a kissing. Way haul away, Joe. Well, once I loved a Scottish girl, she was small and sassy. Way haul away, Joe. And once I loved a Yankee girl, she was stiff and flashy. Way haul away, Joe. Well, once I loved a German girl, but she was proud and haughty. Way haul away, Joe. Then I loved a Spanish girl, say, but she was naughty. Way haul away, Joe. I got myself an Irish girl, and her name was Flanagan. Way haul away, Joe. She stole me boots, she stole me clothes, she pinched me plate and pannikin. Way haul away, Joe. I courted then a Frenchy gal, she took things free and easy. Way haul away, Joe. But now I got an English gal and she is a daisy. Way haul away, go. So listen while I sing to you about me darling and Nancy. Way haul away, Joe. She's copper bottom, cutter built, she's just me style and fancy. Way haul away, Joe. You may talk about your Yankee girls and round the corner Sally's. Way haul away, Joe. But they couldn't make the grade, my boys with the gals from down our alley. Way haul away, Joe. I once in my life I married a wife, and darn her she was lazy. Way haul away, Joe. Couldn't stay at home at nights, which damn you set me crazy. Way haul away, Joe. She stayed out all night, oh hell what a sight, and where do you think I found her? Way haul away, Joe. Behind the pump the story goes, with 40 men round her. Way haul away, better sell your fellow boys and buy your wife a gown. Away, haul away, Joe. I wouldn't sell me fellow boys for all the wives in town. Way, haul away, Joe. Hey, don't you see the black cloud rising? Way, haul away, Joe. Hey, don't you see the black cloud rising? Way, haul away, Joe. One speck of something a little authentic to kick off my nautical set of songs from the sea. Holloway Joe. God, there must be 500 verses to that song. As long as the task is that you need to do, you just come up with more words to pad it out, the full extent of how much you need to. This is not a shanty, but it's a music hall song from the very start of the 20th century, researched from the Vancouver Public Library's archives and brought to the very first Creaking Planks practice, in which I was a member of the band, previously existing as a duo, kind of a banjo ukulele duo. I know, not the most nautical configuration of instruments you might think of. They got more mileage playing Lou Reed songs, but yeah, we never once. This would be the first time I've ever performed this song. I know. You deserve a polished set full of my best material, but at the same time, I've been playing this every month since the pandemic has been going on, and to keep things fresh, I could play you my children's version of Nine Inch Nails songs every month, but I like to mix it up, and I like to, dig deep into the rare grooves of my crate digging, my set selection, and if there is a theme, I like to strive for relevance. So here's a deep cut from the deep Creaking Planks catalog. No planks have ever heard or played, but I got it. I'm going to skip the second verse, which in the tradition of the early 20th century is very quaintly racist. But the song is called Ship Ahoy, and it really advances the thesis. Sailors are just the best people in the world. When the man of war, a merchant ship, comes sailing into port, the jolly tar with joy will sing out land ahoy. With his pockets full of money and a parrot in a cage, he smiles at all the pretty girls upon the landing stage. All the nice girls love a sailor. All the nice girls love a tar. For there's something about a sailor. Well, you know what sailors are. Bright and breezy, free and easy. He's the ladies' pride and joy. Falls in love with Kate and Jane, then he's off to sea again. Ship ahoy, ship ahoy. He'll spend his money freely and he's generous to his pals. Well, Jack has got a sou, there's half of it for you. And it's just the same in love or war, he goes through with a smile. You can trust a sailor, he's earned the right guy all the while. All the nice girls love a sailor. All the nice girls love a tar. For there's something about a sailor. Well, you know what sailors are. Bright and breezy, free and easy. He's the ladies' pride and joy. Falls in love with Kate and Jane, then he's off to sea again. Ship ahoy, ship ahoy. And it's so incredibly, that song is about 100 years old at this point, and sailors have a lot of cultural baggage associated with them. You think of the sailor lifestyle, and it's not all parrots and carousing. There's a dark edge to it that is totally absent in that song. This must have appealed to our cadre of hipsters, the way it's kind of post-irony. It's come full circle. Wow, they just really love sailors. Really loved them a lot. All right. The hipsters in the early Creaking Planks, briefly forming their nautical themed band before realizing that was not the direction they wanted to go in. Um, anyone out there? Hands up. If you remember outsider music phenomenon, Wesley Willis. Anyone? Yeah, you in the back? Yeah. So this was a joke that came up at one of our practices. We were thinking, what about taking an existing work of nautical culture, literature, and who doesn't remember? There was a moment you had to be there, and if you missed it, he hasn't resurfaced into the culture much since his sad, regrettably and untimely death. But we began thinking to ourselves, what if you gave an alternate treatment to some of these works of the nautical canon and Wesley Willisized some famous piece of sea literature? And so we came up with this brief sketch, the Wesley Willis version of Samuel Taylor Coleridge's Rime of the Ancient Mariner. There we go. Once upon a time I was a sailor. We set to sea upon a big galleon. One day in the South Seas, a big bird flew on board. I shot it with my musket. I shot the albatross. I shot the albatross. I shot the albatross. I shot the albatross. I brought a bad luck curse upon our ship. The whole crew died of a badass plague. I was left all alone, a derelict on a ghost ship, with a stinking rotten bird dead on a chain around my neck. I shot the albatross. I shot the albatross. I shot the albatross. I shot the albatross. Water everywhere. I was really thirsty. I badly needed to get drunk off my ass. Not even a drop of rum or whiskey. I shot the albatross. I shot the albatross. I shot the albatross. I shot the albatross. Who prayest best, who loveth best, all creatures great and small, for the Lord and God who made us, He made and loveth all. I shot the albatross. I shot the albatross. I shot the albatross. I shot the albatross. Rock over London, rock on Bangkok. Princess Cruise Lines, the real love boat. Now there's something you were not expecting to hear today. That last verse, incidentally, verbatim Coleridge didn't get the Willis treatment for purposes of absurd juxtaposition. We probably only ever played that once, maybe twice in the 15 years of the Creaking Planks. And you can probably understand why, but I said I was digging deep, giving you the exclusive the B-sides, not the obvious selections. I have already played you some nautical sets in my previous months, and I'm trying not to repeat myself. So some of the obvious selections have already been vented. Not sure what a video for that would look like. I'd have to do some headbutts. Say albatross, albatross, boom. All right. Another song you're probably not familiar with. Brief plank. The plank, a decade and a half of activity. A lot of people went through the creaking planks around its periphery. There were some core members who were present for most of the time, and there were some folks we just played with for a couple of months, or even just a couple of gigs. Um, Fellow travelers, if you were, this is an amazing song by my old dear friend and colleague. Her creaking planks pirate code name was Strong Brew Lundervillen. Um, her civilian name is Brooke Lunderville. All the creaking planks were given the opportunity to come up with their own pirate code name or have one thrust upon them. I was Black Box Squeeze Beard. We also had well, too many to name. In the long delayed Creaking Blanks book project, there's even actually a flowchart you could follow to generate your own pirate code name, thereby rendering you eligible for inclusion in the Creaking Planks. We'll have to see what comes of that. But so here's a song. It doesn't sound like a sea song, but it kind of does. Brooke had long haunted many song circles, and specifically house filks. People would get together, play folk songs on folk music instruments, sometimes coming up with their own lyrics for them. And she was exposed to a lot of sad songs about the awful things that happen at sea, and a lot of sad songs about the awful things that happen on land. The world is a horrible place. The world is a horrible place. Perhaps more so now than ever before, depending on what kind of cohort you have the good fortune to be born into. Our scientists are telling us it's just been getting worse and worse from here on in. But I digress. We will have the comforts of music to help us deal with our misery going forward. In her head, she weighed over the pros and cons, mostly cons, of all these songs commemorating different kinds of disasters. And thought, the only way you can really excel in this genre is to get kind of exponential. So I don't want to give too much away. You'll very quickly determine this is a song that is not what it seems. It's the award-winning, so the Pegasus Award, I'll have to look this up afterwards, by Brooke Lunderville, The Wreck of the Crash of the East Hill Mining Disaster. Get a sip of water, if I remember where I put it. There's a little nautical music for you right there. Let me tell you the story as sad as it's true of the 17 men of the East Hill Mine crew. They were digging for copper, for telephone wires, when the pit shaft was blocked by a terrible fire. Escape was cut off by the flames and the ash. They might have been rescued, but for that ship crash. Let me tell you the story as sad as it's true of the 48 sailors and 17 men of the East Hill Mine crew. The SS Kentucky was badly off course to have arrived in the tailing pond instead of the port. He ran aground in the smoke at the top of the mine, which also obscured the rail passenger line. Uh-oh. Let me tell you the story, as sad as it's true, of the 94 train passengers, 48 sailors, and 17 men of the East Hill Mine crew. Though your train's engineer may be valiant and skilled, if your train hits a steamship, you're bound to be killed. Yet this terrible wreck would have caused much less fuss if the train had avoided that yellow school bus. Let me tell you the story, as sad as it's true, of Miss Mullen's first grade class, 94 train passengers, 48 sailors, and the 17 men of the East Hill Mine crew. Those poor tots and their teacher were on a school visit to the East Hill Mine Safety Museum exhibit. Their passing was tragic but mercifully fast. They probably never saw the puppies caught in the blast. Let me tell you a story, as sad as it's true, of the 8 orphan puppies, Miss Mullen's first grade class, the 94 train passengers, 48 sailors, and 17 men of the East Hill Mine crew. The dogs had been rescued that day from the pound, and those brave orphan pups to a new life were bound, to a school to be trained as guide dogs for the blind. But the truck's awful luck took them past East Hill Mine, and they avoided the mine shaft, and the ship and the train wrecks. They swerved round the burning school bus, when suddenly a jet containing 50 tiny babies and the only sample of the cure for cancer crashed into them in a fiery explosion whose unlikely seismic repercussions triggered a volcanic eruption. Whoa! And that was the story, as sad as it's true, of the lava-covered major urban centers of the eastern seaboard, the 50 tiny babies, the lost cure for cancer, the 8 orphan puppies, Miss Mullen's first grade class, the 94 train passengers, 48 sailors, and 17 men of the East Hill Mine crew. The wreck of the crash of the East Hill mining disaster. If you go to Wikipedia, you won't have to get it to disambiguate which East Hill mining disaster. That's the real tragedy. Looking up the history behind the variety of song that inspired that one. Gets worse than when the mine companies operated company towns and just named it after the mining company. So many Cumberland mine disasters. So many. All right. I always run out of time setting it up. Classic creaking planks. Only the founding plank didn't name the band, but set its initial agenda. I believe has a mechanism for intriguing young women to spend some time with him. I really got in the way of that plan by turning it seriously, with serious effort and undertaking, into a band. Not a serious band, but with serious oomph behind it. That was actually the first Creaking Planks rule, was no inviting random girls at the show to the band without consulting with the other members first, in case they don't know how to play any instruments. He wrote the Wesley Willis lyrical adaptation, and this was his selection. I'm sure he got it from the David Bowie adaptation. This is the Rowan Lipkovits adaptation of Jacques Brel's Poor Amsterdam. This song celebrates and enshrines the other aspect to the sailor's psychology that I think Ship Ahoy failed to grasp. And I'm afraid I'm going to inflict my French accent on you. Dans le port d'Amsterdam, il y a des marins qui chantent les rêves qui les hantent au large d'Amsterdam. Dans le port d'Amsterdam, il y a des marins qui dorment comme des oriflammes le long des berges mornes. Dans le port d'Amsterdam, il y a des marins qui meurent pleins de bière et de drames aux premières lueurs. Mais dans le port d'Amsterdam, il y a des marins qui naissent dans la chaleur épaisse des longueurs océans. Dans le port d'Amsterdam, il y a des marins qui mangent sur les nappes trop blanches des poissons ruisselants. Ils nous montrent des dents à croquer la fortune, à décroiser la lune, à bouffer des haubans. Et ça sent l'amoureux jusque dans le cœur des frites, que leurs grosses mains évitent à revenir en plus. Puis se lèvent en riant dans un bruit de trompette, renferment leurs braguettes en sautant, en rotant. Dans le port d'Amsterdam, il y a des marins qui dansent en se frottant la panse sur la panse des femmes. Et ils tournent et ils dansent comme des soleils crachés dans le sang déchiré d'un accordion rose. Ils se tournent le cou pour mieux s'entendre rire jusqu'à ce tout à coup l'accordion expire. Alors le geste grave, alors le regard fier, ils ramènent leur batave jusqu'en pleine lumière. Dans le port d'Amsterdam, il y a des marins qui boivent et reboivent et qui reboivent encore. Ils reboivent à la santé des putains d'Amsterdam, de Hambourg ou d'ailleurs, enfin, ils boivent aux dames, qui leur donnent le joli coup, qui leur donnent leur vertu, pour une pièce en or et quand ils ont bien bu, se plantent le nez au ciel, se mouchent dans les étoiles, et ils pissent comme je pleure sur les femmes infidèles dans le port d'Amsterdam. Dans le port d'Amsterdam. Dans le port d'Amsterdam. Dans le port d'Amsterdam. Merci tout le monde. Jacques Brel, Le Port d'Amsterdam. I have to switch modes briefly. Some songs are not vocally demanding and some are. And consequently, out of water the garden here. Very different kind of nautical song. On the floating shipless oceans, I did all my best to smile. Till your singing eyes and fingers drew me love into your eyes. And you sang, sail to me, let me enfold you. Here I am, waiting to hold you. Did I dream you dreamed about me? Were you here when I was full sail? Now my foolish boat is leaning, broken lovelorn on your rocks. For you sang, touch me nigh, come back tomorrow. Oh my heart, shines from the sorrow. puzzled as a newborn child. I'm as riddled as the tide. Shall I stand amidst the breakers? Shall I lie with death, my bride? Hear me sing, swim to me, let me enfold you. Here I am, waiting to hold you. Song to the Siren, Mermaid Love Song. How are we doing for time? Now I've gotten all warmed up. I'm ready to go for a long time. It's got like 15 minutes left, so try and make it count. A little CanCon for you. I believe the Planks picked this one up for a gig at the Atlantic Trap and Gill downtown, where there were so many of us. The only configuration in which we could fit on the stage was this elaborate Tetris-like interlocking, people's arms and legs fitted into the openings and crevices. Our ukulele sound technician hanging halfway out of a hole in the ceiling where the gear was located. It was a memorable occasion. Well, I used to be a farmer and I made a living fine. I had a little stretch of land along the Mississippi line. Times got tough and though I tried, the money wasn't there. The bankers came and took my land and told me fair is fair. I looked for every kind of job, the answer always no. How are you now? They'd always laugh, we just let 20 go. Ha-ha! The government, they promised me a measly little sum, but I've got too much pride to end up just another bum. Then I thought, who gives a damn if all the jobs are gone? I'm gonna be a pirate on the river Saskatchewan. Arr! And it's a heave, ho, 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 coming down the plains, a stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. And it's a ho, hey, hi, hey, farmers by your doors when you see the Jolly Roger on the tiny mighty sword. Well, you'd think the local farmers would know that I'm at large, but just the other day I found an unprotected barge stuck right up behind them, and they were none the wiser. I rammed the ship and sank it, and I stole the fertilizer. Reached outside a moose jaw, spans a mighty river. Farmers cross in so much fear their stomachs are a quiver, 'cause they know the creaking planks are hiding in the bay. I'll jump the bridge and knock 'em cold and sail off with the hay. And it's a heave, ho, hi, ho, coming down the plains, a stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. And it's a ho, hey, hi, hey, farmers by your doors when you see the Jolly Roger on the giant mighty shore. Well, Mountie Bob, he chased me, he was always at my throat. He'd follow on the shoreline, 'cause he didn't own a boat. Well, the cups backs were a-coming, the Mountie lost his job, so now he's sailing with me and we call him Salty Bob. A swinging sword of skull and bones and pleasant company. I never pay my income tax and screw the GST. Screw it! Prince Albert down to Saskatoon, the tiller of the sea. If you wanna reach the co-op, boy, you gotta get by me. Arr! Well, it's a heave, ho, hi, ho, coming down the plains, a stealing wheat and barley and all the other grains. And it's a ho, hey, hi, hey, farmers by your doors when you see the Jolly Roger on the giant mighty shore. Well, the pirate life's appealing, but you just don't find it here. I hear in North Alberta there's a band of buccaneers. They roam the Athabasca from Smith to Fort McKay. You're gonna lose your Stetson if you have to pass their way. Well, winter is a-comin' and a chill is in the breeze. My pirate days are over once the river starts to freeze. I'll be back in springtime, but now I've got to go. I hear there's lots of thundering down in New Mexico. And it's a heave-ho, hi-ho, coming down the plain. A steel and wheat and barley and all the other grains. And it's a ho, hey, hey, farmers by your doors. When you see the Jolly Roger on the China's mighty shore. When you see the Jolly Roger on the China's mighty shore. When you see the Jolly Roger on the China's mighty shores. The Last Saskatchewan Pirate by Captain Tractor, I believe. That song is funnier if you have a good grasp on Canadian geography. The territory described is intensely landlocked. But there are a lot of people from the Maritimes who live in the prairies because that's where the jobs are since the collapse of the fisheries. All right, my friends, I'm losing my voice, so perhaps I am lucky that I'm approaching the end of my set. That Jacques Brel really did it for me, getting the throat business of the French accents. But I'll give this one a try for you because I have not played it yet in one of my streams. Although I have played it. My practice for last year's Wooden Boat Festival set actually made its way into my weekly Stupid Accordion Tricks video series, which more or less once a week I share covers of songs not necessarily written for accordion, but performed by me vaguely in a half-baked fashion sometimes on accordion, because it's not necessarily the fact that it's done well that is so fascinating, but the fact that it is done at all. As it turns out, this band has lovely accordion in it. Jenny Conley, top-notch work. Our two mariners, ship's sole survivors, in this belly of a whale. Its ribs are ceiling beams, its guns are carpeting. I guess we have some time to kill. You may not remember me, I was a child of 3, and you a lad of 18. But I remember you, and I will relate to you our history's interweaved. At the time you were a rake and a roustabout, spending all your money on the whores and hounds. Wow. You had a charming air, all cheap and debonair, my widowed mother found so sweet. And so she took you in, her sheets still warm with him, now filled with filth and foul disease. I'm whereon you proved a debt-ridden, drunken mess, leaving my mother a poor, consumptive wretch. Well, and then you disappeared, your gambling arrears, the only thing you left behind. And then the magistrate reclaimed the smallest name, and my poor mother lost her mind. And one day in spring, my dear sweet mother died. Before she did, I took her hand as she dying cried. Wow. I'm bind him, tie him to a pole and break his fingers, the splinters, tie him to a hole until he wakes up naked, clawing at the ceiling of his grave. It took me 15 years to swallow all my tears among the urchins in the street, until a priory took pity and hired me to keep their vestry nice and neat. But never once in the employ of these holy men Did I ever once turn my mind from the thought of revenge? Wow. And I overheard the friar exchanging words, penitent whaler from the sea, captain of his ship, who matched you toe to tip, was known for a wanton cruelty. The following day I shipped to sea with a privateer, and the whistle of the winds I could almost hear. Ah. Find him, I am too tall and break his fingers, spin down, drag him to a hole until he wakes up naked, trying the ceiling of his grave. Oh, there's one thing I must say to you, as you sail across the sea. Always your mother will watch over you as you avenge this wicked deed. And then that fateful night, we had you in our sight after 20 months at sea. Your starboard flank beam, I was getting my muskets clean, when came this rumbling from beneath. The ocean shook, the sky went black, and the captain quailed. From before us grew the angry jaws of a giant whale. Wow. Don't know how I survived. The crew was all chewed alive. I must have slipped between his teeth. But oh, what providence, divine intelligence, when you should survive as well as me. It gives my heart great joy to see your eyes fill with care. So lean in close and I will whisper the last words you'll hear. Now. Mariner's Revenge, the song that made the Decemberists, Colin Malloy and his crew. All right, my friends, thanks so much for joining me. I jumped the boat. I skipped the ship. I left Facebook video thinking that maybe I'd have better luck with YouTube. Please let me know in the feedback, all 3 of you who I can see are watching, if you think it was a better quality broadcast. I can't vouch for the content, unfortunately, but all the starting and stopping and unexpectedly having to cancel it and restart and post a new link and everything, I was getting pretty fed up with Facebook. Zuckerberg, you're on notice. I'd like to thank Renee and the Accordion Babes for having me once again as part of their Accordion Fridays program. I don't know, maybe I'll be lucky enough to join them in September, and here for the first time, maybe I get to announce we will be hosting streaming videos also as part of the 13th Annual Accordion War Festival, probably the second weekend of October. I have a lot of organization to do, and as you can see, I'm still figuring out the streaming video component myself. But stay tuned, and I'll sing you out with some Beastie Boys. I was talking about Phil earlier. When you write new lyrics to an old song, that's the old Phil. I'm going overtime a little bit. Don't rudely eschew the next performer on the Accordion Fridays bill. Cut me off and go join into their set in progress. When you wake up in a jail cell, they won't let you go. You ask the guard, please, but he still says no. So you blew up some galleons just for the purse. And that king of Spain is some kind of jerk. You gotta fight for your right to burn down. Well, English Navy sees your keel and they say, no way! And those hypocrites sink 10 ships a day. Yeah, the life of a pirate can be such a drag. Now France comes to steal your best piece of swag. Busted, you gotta fight for your right to plunder. You're gonna swing from the gallows if you don't stop the killing. You better eat all your lemons or else you'll be illin'. We don't play tricks and we don't pull pranks. True Rogerson will make you walk the creaking planks. You gotta fight for your right to plunder. Scurvy pirates, fight for your right to plunder. Great piece of filth. Usually I'd follow that up with some authentic Beastie Boys rhyming and stealing, which I shared as part of this week's Stupid Accordion Tricks. If you look that up here on YouTube, you'll find 2 years worth of weekly videos just about. Thanks everyone so much for joining me. And if I'm lucky, I might have a chance to play for you in September again. Thank you, and thank you, thank you. Thanks everyone. Thanks to the creaking planks wherever you are. Someday we'll play again. Aye, and goodbye. I was asked if you're sure you want to stop the stream. Okay, that's really decisive gesture. Definitely ending it. And then I got to read the small print. All right. See you later, friends.